Hello and welcome to my first video on this channel. In this video I'm going to show you the armor double web Kestrel. I have 4 rocket launchers with different ammo types for different situations. When I'm an AB for the speed, double web scram for range control, ballistic control for more DPS, 400mm plate and 3 times the 3-mark armor pump rig for more EHP. I have 150 DPS cold, overheated I get 177, speed of 778 meters per second, with heat I get almost 1k, webs get a range of 13 kilometers heated and the scram to 9.9 kilometers. Okay. That's the fit. Let's get into some fights. Okay, in this first fight I caught an executioner outside the acceleration gate. I notice he is a kiter and I orbit him 500. But before I get in orbit he's already dead, because kiters don't have any tank. In this next fight I arranged a 1v1 against an Atron. We both work to the same asteroid belt at 0. Here I am landing and I try to get into the 6500 meter orbit of a scram kiter to be out of his blaster range. I activate my weapons, double web and scram, and start shooting him. He hits me very well even at this range, so I know he has null loaded, which causes him to lose about 100 DPS, which gives me the DPS and range advantage. And I can wiggle through his ancillary armor repairer. I overheat my warp scrambler so he doesn't escape me, and there it goes. His ancil is still holding him up, but it's only a question of time until he runs out of charges, and then he's done. Bye bye Atron and GF. Next fight, in my home system. I asked a breacher if he wanted to fight me and he said yes. I know the breacher has a bad range, so I orbit him at 8 kilometers to outrange his missiles with my bonused Kestrel rockets. Here you see after the first 2-3 volleys landing that his missiles disappear before they reach me. Now I'm just out of his range, and the only thing applying a DPS to me is his drones. Again I have to overheat my scram so he doesn't escape me. And now I just have to slowly work on him until his ancil charges run out. This pilot is actually using a double medium ancillary shield booster, very strong fit. But because he isn't hitting me, I'm in the big advantage. And I can just slowly work on him until his ancils run out. You see, he's sometimes even dropping into hull, so he has to wrap a lot. It's only a question of time until his both ancils run out. Still, the only thing hitting me are his drones, and they don't do a lot of damage, so I can easily tank it. Now he's finally out of charges and there he goes. GF. Next fight, I am sliding in on a slicer. I know he's a brawl slicer, so I orbit him 500 in the hope to outtrack his guns. You see, immediately I make a big mistake by deactivating my AB. Immediately after activating it, panic spam clicking. This allows him to get 2 good volleys and I'm already in armor. But now my tank stabilizes and he is going down pretty fast. But second mistake. I notice his snoot and I'm getting nervous I might lose points, so I deactivate both my webs. And now he can pull range. Before I notice he's getting further away from me. He's already about 3 kilometers away and he is hitting very good. He's rapidly catching up the armor in this DPS race, and before I'm back in orbit he hits me very, very well. Smashing shot 400 right there. And the Navy ships just have more hull buffer, so I die just before he dies. GF. Okay, next fight against an Incursus. This was actually one of my first fights, so I'm pretty nervous I'm not gonna make it. Immediately heated AB to get it out of his range and start shooting him. Now after the first 2-3 volleys, you see that he stopped shooting me, which means he is switching his ammo. Now you should see a hole in his volleys. Nothing is sitting. He's in reload from void to null, which causes him to lose half his DPS, but after the reload he starts hitting me again very well. In the meantime I already got him through half his armor, but he has an Ansel, so it continues to be very, very interesting. I'm overheating my AB a bit more to make sure I mitigate some more damage, and I heat my weapons a lot. I almost forgot to deactivate that again. But now he's dropping into hull, and I still have about 30% of my armor left. And the Ansel is empty now, and there he goes. Bye bye Incursus. GF. Next fight, I am fighting a Rifter. We arranged a 1v1 at the sun, and we both warped to 0. I orbit him at 7 kilometers to get out of his Hall of range. So the pilot has to start shooting with Barrett from the beginning, which means he has only about 120 DPS. So I'm clearly in the DPS advantage. I also see his armor dropping rapidly, and I'm pretty confident at this point. This pilot sadly had more of a Lowsec kind of fit with a dual prop, so he had to drop his 400mm plate for a 200mm plate, which means his tank was reduced a lot, and I can shoot through him pretty fast. There he goes. Bye bye Rifter, GF. Okay, here I started my recording a bit late, sorry for that. I basically just burned towards this RT Thrasher, and as soon as I'm in orbit he doesn't hit me anymore, and within a few volleys he's gone. GF. In this next fight I started the recording again too late, sorry. When this Cursor Navy is already going into hull, I just orbited him at 500 so his guns can track, and the pilot of the Cursor Navy, pretty desperate, now brought in his ult in the Thrasher fleet issue in the hope of killing me before his Cursor Navy goes down. The Thrasher fleet misses a few shots, and I go into reload just as the Cursor Navy issue is on 1% health, and the NPC actually has to finish him. There he goes. I immediately warp off in the hope of getting out before the Thrasher fleet issue gets a point again, and I get out. GF. Next fight, warping in on an exact Navy issue. I'm pretty nervous because punching up against Cruiser is pretty hard. I have to defang him, so I orbit him 500 to outtrack his guns, put Webs and Scram on him, but don't shoot him yet, and immediately start shooting the drones. I also web the drones for better application, and there goes the first drone already. I continue with the second drone, and that's basically just it. When you defang the cruiser of his drones and you are in the orbit 500, you basically just have to hope he doesn't have friends nearby. Slow grind through the armor, and that's it. Now I'm already on the third drone. Thanks to my web I apply very good, and there it goes. Bye bye. Next drone. Already in armor. At this point I'm in half armor and he only has 2 drones left, so I'm pretty confident. But now you see a huge speed increase on the part of the exact Navy, which allows him to get bang some big shots with his blasters, and I immediately die. That was because he was 100 MN fit. This exact Navy though was not 100 MN fit, and he also forgot his drones. So as soon as I'm in orbit, I can start grinding through his armor. But something makes me really nervous. It's this NPCs from the supply depot. Everybody who already did a supply depot knows how hard these NPCs really hit. And they approach fast. I can just hope I get through the exit navy in time. Which is kinda hard in a frigate against a cruiser. NPCs already at 40 kilometers. But there he goes into armor. His armor is dropping fast. So I was pretty confident at this point. But soon you'll see that he is repairing because he has a medium ancillary shield booster. The NPCs are at 25 kilometers in the meantime and they start hitting me. I overheat my weapons in the hope of breaking through the exit navy before he can wrap. I get him into hell, but there he wraps a lot. Meanwhile the NPCs got me into armor. I continue overheating. The NPCs hit again. Now I overheat my AB and I pop a booster in the hope of getting a bit more transversal against these NPCs so they wouldn't hit me anymore. I see that the exit navy is still wrapping a lot and the NPCs hit very hard, so I decide to align out with overheated AB. I run and run and run and hope and overheat the believe. 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers. Now his point should drop and I warp off. Come on. At 4% hull I survive. GF. That was close. Next fight. 1v1 against an Omen Navy issue. Again. We both warp to the sun at 0. I orbit 500. Lock him. And start shooting him. The Omen Navy issue actually has enough space to fit 2 sets of small drones, but this pilot brought 1 set of medium drones, so it's pretty easy for me to defang him. I immediately start with one of the Valkyries, overheat my weapons a bit to get some of the DPS off field, and there pops the first drone. I continue with the second drone. He is not tracking me at all, and there dies the second drone. Bang. Now he actually recalls his drone, good job on that. And now it gets spicy. The Crucifier Navy issue of Zhao is landing. And I'm pretty nervous he's going to help his buddy. But, thank you, Zhao, again. He actually stays out of this fight, and I can continue my grind through the Omen Navy's tank. Now it drops into armor. Zhao says he's just watching, blocking us both to see our HP. There the Omen goes into armor, and the drones are out again. I start shooting the drone again. That's basically it. Shoot the drones, shoot him, shoot the drones, shoot him. Hope for the best. Now the third drone dies. I know he has only 2 drones left. And now the only thing that can put me into any danger is if his friends arrive. My shields are regenerating again. It's just a slow grind. In the meantime, the local is going up and up and up. I overheat my weapons because he is dropping into low armor, and there are the drones again. I stop shooting and start shooting the drones. Again I put the weapon on them, but before I can start shooting them, he already recalled them and I shoot him again. Now you see I'm going into my first rocket reload, which takes 10 seconds off. And he chooses that time to drop his drones, so I actually can't shoot the drones and just wet them before he recalls them. And I shoot him again. This pilot actually did a really good job on dropping his drones and recalling them in time, so I couldn't defang him as easily. Here I actually forgot to put the web on the drone. but I got it into low shield, so next time it will be damaged again when he drops it. A second person lands on the sun. It's Gupil in his kiting venture. It's actually PvP fit venture. And Tao in his Kestrel lands. I asked them both to please stay out of the fight, and surprisingly enough, they both do. Thank you. The honorable 1v1 continues. The Omen Navy issue is going into half armor. He's still not tracking me. He doesn't have a newt or anything, so he can't newt me out. The NOS is not particularly dangerous for me because it can't newt me dry. There are the drones again. I stop shooting, deactivate my web, and start shooting the drones again. I get this second drone into low armor, deep hull, and I kill it. There it goes. Next drone. And it dies. Nice. Now the only thing left to do is shoot him down. In the meantime, a Federation Navy Comet landed. Again, I asked him to stay out, and Zhao, thank you, also helped keeping those Galente out of the fight. So I can continue on the Omen. It's going into low armor now, only 20% left. As another Galente lands, this time in a Vigil Fleet issue. Also, the Vigil Fleet issue stays out of the fight. Thank you again. 5 Galente on grid at this time. It's really crazy. I go into second reload and I overheat my weapons as I start shooting again, because I see him going into low armor and starting to bleed hull. I hope to finish him off here in a last big effort. He still has some ancillary charges, but he's slowly going into deeper and deeper hull. And another Galente lands! This time in a hookbill. Thankfully, this hookbill stays out of the fight again. Okay, the Omen is going into low hull, below 50% now. I get ready to align out, so I can immediately warp off after the Omen is dead. I don't want any Galente to tackle me last second. Lower hull. Even lower hull. I deactivate my AB so I can warp faster. I warp off, and that's it. In the meantime, a Vagabond landed that also wanted to watch the fight, and I get out. That was close. GF to the Roman Navy issue. Okay, that's all the fights I got in my double web armor Kestrel. I say thank you for watching, and please consider leaving a comment with a ship or a fit you would like to see in a future video. You can also send me a ship or a fit you'd like to see in an in-game mail to Tien Zaharin. Have a good day. Goodbye.